Welcome to A Date with Darkness podcast, where I will be discussing the impact of hurtful and abusive relationships and how to overcome them so that you can move through your pain and get to the kind of healthy relationships you want, need, and deserve. I'm Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist based in California. While I hope that you find this podcast educational and informational, please note it should not be substituted for treatment with a licensed mental health professional. Also, due to the nature of the podcast, some of the information presented on the show can be sensitive to some of my listeners, so please note that listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. I am super excited to be back here chatting with you guys, and I know that it is officially July, and last month was Pride Month. However, I did have two podcasts that I did want to record in honor of Pride Month, as it relates to narcissism and narcissistic abuse. So I definitely want to go ahead and get those out. And today's topic that I'm going to be discussing in honor of Pride Month is toxic homoerotica in heterosexual female friendships. So, homoerotica is officially defined as having feelings of sexual attraction or sexual activities between two people of the same sex. For the purposes of this podcast, I'm talking about a woman who has a sexual attraction to her friend, and that friend is not aware of her sexual attraction towards her. However, these feelings, the way that they manifest, um, is very toxic within the friendship. So let me explain, and I hope that I've broken it down. So for the purposes of this podcast, is when two heterosexual women are in a friendship, and unbeknownst to one woman in the friendship, her friend has a sexual attraction towards her, and the way that it manifests is very toxic and narcissistic. So I don't know, yeah, I have a wide variety in my audience. However, most of my audience members, surprisingly, are younger folks and also middle-aged folks, such as myself. And so for some of us who for my listeners that are middle aged, you guys are probably gonna know middle aged or older at least. You guys are probably gonna remember the movie Single White Female with the actress Jennifer Jason Lee. And the whole premise of the movie is that Jennifer, she befriends this woman, they become roommates, and next thing you know, she is obsessed with this woman and she wants to take over her whole identity. And she wants her boyfriend, she wears her clothes, she cuts her hair just like her roommate, like she becomes super duper obsessed. And that's what I mean when I talk about toxic homoerotica. This woman exemplifies toxic homoerotica to a T because deep down at the core, although it wasn't specified in this movie, but the gist of it is that this woman is very attracted to her roommate and wants her life to be exactly like her, wants her life to be the exact replica of hers, and basically wants to absorb every single aspect of this woman's life. Because she can't get with her, she's going to do everything else that she can do to take on this woman's persona and every other aspect of her life. And which is exactly what happens when you have toxic or narcissistic homoerotica and heterosexual female friendships. So the first thing is that, again, like I just clarified, the woman that has these feelings, these romantic feelings, these secretive romantic feelings towards her friend, she becomes super absorbed with her friend, super absorbed in her friend's life. And then it begins to take on an obsession. Like, I am obsessed with you. I want to hear all the details. You have to tell me every single aspect of your life. When we're not together, then I'm on your social media. I'm kind of going over everything. I am texting you. I want to see where you're at. So I'm super obsessed with you in every facet of your life. I'm asking all of these questions. I want to know everything. And then if you don't tell me everything about your life, then I start to get a little bit pissed, or I feel like you're cutting me out, and I feel very entitled to know those things about your life. And so that's the first thing. The second thing where there's toxic or narcissistic or homoerotica is that there's this possessiveness over the friend. So you are my friend and only my friend first, and I take it as a slight, or I get extremely pissed off if you have other friends outside of me. I start to feel personally threatened, or like our friendship is in jeopardy. A person may also actually threaten to end the friendship if, they feel threatened in any way. So what that would look like is, like, if you have other friends, you're going out with them, then because your friend who has these romantic feelings towards you feels very threatened, may threaten to end the relationship, may lash out and threaten to end the friendship, and accuse you of betraying her or sort of stepping out on her with other people, right? And so there's this jealousy and animosity over other friendships with women, or other friendships in general. There's also feelings of jealousy over your love interest, right? So just very similar, and actually even more so, because if you have a love interest, and you have an intimate partnerships, there can be these feelings of extreme jealousy over, your love interest. And, the way that that may manifest is like, he's no good for you anyway, or whoever, whatever your romantic love interest is, he or she is no good for you anyway. I don't see why you're with them. They're trash. So really sort of degrading that partnership. Why don't you get rid of them? You don't need him anyway. You have me, that sort of thing. So making it very all or none, like, you don't need them. Just focus all of your efforts on me, and just really sort of trashing that person, or, lashing out at that person, being extremely hostile when they're around your love interest or your other friends. So acting out in that way and being just very overall disrespectful, because they see that person as a threat. They want to eliminate and get them out of out of your life, so that they can move in and be your everything. Um, and so they definitely speak negatively about that. In the same aspect, when it comes to maybe your family, they constantly want to be involved, with you and your family, and feel like you should include them in everything that you do with your family, because they see themselves as an extension of you. And so they want to be involved in those intimate, settings with family, so holidays and things like that. They want you to be a part of it, and they expect to be included in family vacations, family holidays, and things like that. So, because again, they're looking at you like, or they're viewing you as an intimate partner, even though you may not be aware, right? And so they feel entitled to spending spend they feel entitled to spend that time with you, when you're doing close, personal, intimate things with family. Uh, okay, so if you're a friend who has these romantic feelings for you, if they have their own love interest, or if they're dating, or if they're married to someone, what they will tend to do is they will prioritize you over the person that they are with. So it's almost like their partner is like a third party just along for the ride. And it's like, okay, well, my friend, nope, my friend comes before you. And it's, I would rather my partner leave and go away and it just be me and my friend, and I'm okay with that. So, like any relationship problems they have, they may go to you and they're gonna really and they're gonna take your advice before they turn to their partner and talk to their partner about the relationship, about the problems that are going on in the relationship. So therefore, again, their partner is almost like a third party, and they're much more devoted to you and seeking out your feedback and your comfort and your companionship than they are with their own partner. And their partner definitely becomes fully aware that they are a third wheel. And so they've come to the understanding that, either I have to prioritize myself and leave this relationship, or I just kind of have to sit back and take it and deal with it and not really say anything about it because I don't want to rock the boat and end the relationship. So it's usually one of those two extremes. And typically speaking, their partner is almost always super passive. Uh, Again, there's, feelings of betrayal when you don't tell them about any of your life details. So if they find out something happened to you, no matter how minuscule it is, no matter how small or trivial of a detail it is, if they find out something that you did or something that happened to you or somebody that you encountered, if they find out after the fact and you didn't tell them about it, then they're going to feel betrayed. They're going to lash out because how dare you not tell me everything that happened to you in your personal life. Like I should be the first person that you tell any and everything to. So they feel entitled to know all aspects of your life, even the fine details. And then when that doesn't happen, or when you do something that they don't agree with, or you hang out with someone and you don't get their approval, or you do it without their approval, or if they feel threatened in any way, they will lash out towards you. And that lashing out can be extremely volatile, extremely hostile. So they can scream at you, they can become very self-destructive, wanna end the relationship, they will cancel plans, they will go on a smear campaign to, smear your name to anyone and everyone who will listen, they will stonewall and give you the silent treatment, they may become physically aggressive, so there is this extreme lashing out, and it can cause you to feel extremely terrified. And it's like, whoa, and you're not really sure how to balance the power in the relationship or even what this is really about, why they're having such an adverse reaction to something that seems so small, or you may become concerned at how extremely destructive this person is being over something that you deem as small, or just in general. Like, why are you so destructive? Why are you so volatile when it comes to something that we can have a simple discussion about? And there seems to be all this rage and animosity. And it is because they have these secret feelings that have manifested, and now they view you as a lover, as much more than a friend. And again, you may not be aware of how deep these feelings are, but they're actually feelings of attraction, sexual attraction towards you. And this person is lashing out. And another thing that I will say about, a friend that has, homoerotic feelings towards you, they may not express these feelings because one, they may feel like you're not okay with it, like you're not down with, having same sex attraction, or they may feel like it's socially unacceptable to be in a same sex relationships. There's many different reasons why a person can keep feelings like this hidden from you. But trust and believe they are there if you're seeing some of these adverse reactions. And so when things seem like, oh, like when their reactions are over the top, this obsessiveness, this desire to control you and almost like mother you in the friendship, those are there. It's just that you may not be aware because they haven't expressed this attraction to you. And that could be for any number of reasons. It also may be something that they feel like they are trying to fight within themselves. Like, I don't want to admit that I have these feelings, towards, my friend. I may not want to admit that. Secretly, I may admit that to myself, but I also may hate that aspect of myself that has those feelings, which may be where that rage comes from, also, right? It could also be related to feelings or the relationship that a woman has with her mother. So, if a woman has a very toxic and tumultuous relationship with her mother, where she constantly has to seek the approval of her mother, and her mother is not cool with that, with her wanting to explore her sexuality or being open with her sexuality or just any aspect of that. If she has a very controlling and toxic mom, that also may be why these feelings manifest in this way. Another thing that may happen within, within a friendship where there's a narcissistic friend that has these homoerotic feelings towards you is like whenever something good happens in your life, right? You accomplish something, you get attention, your social media is doing good, your fiance proposes or things like that. There can be this instant devaluation, and that devaluation can manifest in terms of like a backhanded compliment, outright putting you down, causing a scene or making a fight during that time, withdrawing and disconnecting or becoming, moody so that the attention is always back on them. There's this constant feeling of being threatened by the possibility of something, someone, or some sort of situation taking you away from them. So it's almost like woe is me type of feeling to it, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose you, so if something good happens to you, right? Oh, I may lose you to this good thing, and I'm just so worried and I'm so scared, and it becomes very overly dramatic, and that becomes the focus of the attention as opposed to what's happening with you, or how that person can show up for you or celebrate you. It's all about like, sort of the circling the drain mentality of like, I could lose you. And again, I've mentioned the stalking. So the stalking can happen in a myriad of ways in addition to social media. They could demand to go through your phone, they can demand to know where you're going, they could just pull up at your house, same type of stuff in terms of what they feel entitled to. In addition to stalking you, they may ask you to commit to them in a number of ways and where you cannot leave. So that may be like developing a work partnership or moving in and signing a long-term lease or, doing something where the two of you are heavily invested together, making a big financial purchase. And it's something where you would be heavily invested together and you can't walk away or just sort of break the friendship easily. So they would demand that. From you and want to try to get into something that you can't easily walk out of. And in addition to doing that, they would constantly hold that over your head anytime you guys get into an argument and may lash out at you through the thing that ties you guys together. As I mentioned before, another way that this sort of manifests is copying you so that they could copy how you dress. Very similar to that movie. She went out and bought a whole wardrobe, your hair, things that you like to do, how you talk and your personality. And if your friend has these feelings of homoerotica towards you, but they feel like they may not necessarily be able to um, may not be able to express those romantic feelings towards you for whatever reason, they are going to do the next best thing. And for narcissistic women, how that manifests is sleeping with your man, taking your friendships as their own. They will, sleep with your exes, other things like that. So they'll make it their mission to surround themselves with or immerse themselves with everybody that you're involved with. They will immerse themselves in your family. And so they will start to, really sort of enmesh themselves with your family, and may cross the threshold of what's appropriate and inappropriate, like, calling your mom, calling your dad, things like that, and try to get extremely close and enmeshed, calling them, or doing things one on one with the people in your life. And so they will make it their mission to really sort of seek out and try to take on aspects of your life for themselves, because a large part of the narcissistic homoerotica is that I am now taking on your personality traits in your life, and I'm absorbing your identity because I'm so enamored with you. I want to consume you. I want to conquer you. I want everything that you have for myself. Okay. Um, Lastly, the one thing I'll mention in terms of narcissistic homoerotica, if your friend does express these feelings towards you, a lot of times it'll be in a way that's palatable. So they may joke about you guys being together, like, oh, if neither one of us are married at 40, then we'll just marry each other, we'll raise babies together and blah 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 blah. So they'll make jokes about you guys. They'll put things under the guise of a joke about you two being together and having a life together. Or they may they may sort of put out like hypothetical romance questions about female on female friendships, things like that. So they'll try to do it in a way that doesn't appear to be so obvious to you. But again, 9 times out of 10, when you have a friend like this, other people usually point out that this friend, hey, your friend is a little too close, your friend is a little too possessive, or I think your friend has more feelings for you than they've let on. And so usually, if you have a good support team around you, then they will catch on and be like, I think there's a little bit something else going on with your friend than just wanting to be a friend, or your friend is intruding on our relationship, and so it's making it difficult for us to have a healthy friendship or a healthy romantic connection. So, other people will oftentimes express that and point out the red flag for you. Your mom may even point those things out for you. Someone typically does that. Not always, but most of the time. Again, if you have a good support system, they could say, something's a little amiss there, or that person's becoming a little too close for comfort, or they're too demanding for just a platonic friendship. Okay, so if you have a person like that, I would say, just be mindful of your friendships, assert your boundaries. When you have a friend like this, it's very narcissistic and is very all or nothing, especially if you have one that lashes out or has started to absorb or try to take on aspects of your personality, and you want to, try to get away from that. I think the only way to do it is a clean break. And the reason, because if that person is absorbing you, they're becoming parasitic, or they are very parasitic. To me, there's a good chance that you're not the first person that they've done this to. So you are probably not even their first rodeo. It also, they're also typically not likely to be the type of women that you can let down easily. So that they are going to be brim and stone when you try to, break that relationship. They're really going to lash out. Even when you try to assert boundaries or take space or surround yourself with other friends, they are going to view that as a slight towards them. In my opinion, it's also not a good idea for you to be surrounded with a woman that could very easily turn on you and become public enemy number one. It's actually, in my professional opinion, it's actually quite dangerous. So I would suggest that you take some steps back, make a clean break for it if you can, or put some parameters, like this person needs to go get help. If they, but again, when you're talking about a narcissistic person, do they view themselves as being part of a problem, or are they just giving you lip service to tell you what you want to hear? And so, again, everyone here is adults, but I've shared some of my concerns, and let me know what your thoughts are about narcissistic homoerotica and heterosexual female friendships. If you've ever experienced this, if you've ever had someone show up for you like this, I would love to hear about it and how that situation played out for you. And until next time, you guys take care of yourselves, stay out of trouble, and be well. Bye for now.